hear about like how you go about the production and how do you go about mixing your music? I always found your use of atmosphere and like how different things, how the different elements kind of just work together. I always found that really interesting, so I just want to hear about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mean to be direct on your question first and to answer directly. I mean, I use Logic. That's how I master, mix and master.
Hmm.
Um, but I try to do most of I try to do most of my mixing honestly in the RS 7000, just so that when I'm actually like, printing it to Logic, I can right now this is kind of where I'm at in the whole because this is like a learning process. I mean, I'm literally was just doing like some recording earlier, and it's still like I'm still like learning like new stuff. So it's
Hmm.
like kind of mind blowing to me. But nonetheless, I try to get as close as I can with the RS, and then I'll print it to Logic track by track so I can do hopefully minimal fading work inside of Logic.
Hmm.
And then I'll try to get it sounding the best I can with minimal processors, and then I will start adding things in, and I'll start to tweak and change to make sure that to try to brighten the mix if I can. um I mean, honestly, this it's going to be a dumbed down answer, and I'm going to leave it at that because honestly, I have beyond that, I haven't figured it out. I think that mixing and mastering is such a gosh, it's such a being a sound engineer or like a is such a whole nother task. It's totally different from being a musical producer, in my opinion. I think production here and then mixing and mastering are a totally separate thing. And I think that sometimes it takes an ear, you know, it takes an ear for both of them. And I think that the ear is different a lot of times, and that's kind of like, I think mixing and mastering, that's kind of when you almost need other people to listen to it, and be like, hey, what needs to happen here? Because like, I've listened to this so many times that, I mean, it just it's tough. It's tough to like continue forward without like getting some sort of input,
Right.
trying it on different things.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I would say as much as possible, processors last. Try to get it to sound really good, without messing with the volume, the faders, and stuff like that, and then sort of tweak it. I don't know if that's the answer.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that a lot of people. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm like a sound engineer or a trained one at all because I'm totally self-taught when it comes to engineering and sound stuff. But I think a lot of people treat it as an objective thing where they're like, "Oh, you want your mixes to have this in it," or you always want your guitar to be louder than your drum. I don't know. There's just examples, but like
Yeah.
I think mixing a lot of stuff, like there's an industry standard to how you want your, you know, whatever lowest common denominator pop song to sound like, but
Mhm.
a lot of personality and a lot of creativity goes in with the mixing process
Yeah.
and stuff, and I don't know, a lot of people don't treat it like that, which is kind of I always found kind of weird.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot within that is, I mean, I think it would be different if I actually had like a sound engineer sort of working with me, like, you know,
Hmm. Yeah,
it,
because
it it'd probably be I'd probably be able to really sort of get into the mix a lot more. I mean, I'm able to get into the mix just because I do it, or into that process because I actually do it. But if I was to, give it to a sound engineer or be like, okay, here, make this, mix and master this for me, unless I am sitting quite literally co-piloting with them, I'm not going to be able to like talk them on exactly to like how I want it to sound, because they're going to make it sound a certain way, or I can't like kind of challenge maybe some things that they're going to do to my mix, and I think that it takes a little bit of the control away, which I don't like, because I'm a very controlling person when it comes to my music. It's my baby,
Yeah, yeah.
but you're right. I think that there is still a lot of like uh expression, that's, for lack of a better term, and that's happening while you're doing that mix, and making
Right.
it sound a certain way, because sound is everything in my opinion. I mean, anything. I think I mean, like, sound quite literally, that's the reason why I stick with the RS, is it's like I like the way that the RS sounds.